All right. Yeah, so you don't need to make it logical. In fact, I always tell my students, don't try to logically connect things, right? Don't say, for example, that the largest region for rhinoceros habitats is in northeastern India, right? Why? Because that sentence is too complex, right? You have to do a lot of calculations and a lot of linking different types of logics to come to that particular conclusion. It's much easier just to list keywords with no logic at all, right? Some of the interesting features are north, south, east, and west. Some of the beautiful countries are India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, right? That would be very easy. Someone asked, can I say colors? Normally, yes, you can say colors, although if I'm not mistaken, I believe if you get this image in the test, it's actually black and white. I'm not 100% sure on that because I haven't taken the test in the last month, right? This is just what I heard from reports. They told me that the image was black and white, so you might not be able to see any colors, right? Although don't quote me on that. I haven't actually seen it in person. All right, let's go to the next one, shall we? All right, this one should be nice and easy. This one's kind of a bit closer to what we're more used to, right? This is a regular kind of map/graph. So, Hanjing, thank you very much.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
So which map? This one?
Yes.
I still... Yeah.
Sorry, just 1 second. Somebody wanted me to say the previous one. Yeah, I'll just do a very sorry, just to interrupt you. I'll just do a very
that's fine.
Okay, so I'm going to say something like this is a map showing rhinoceros habitats. There are several different categories, including Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh. And these are further separated into north, south, and east. As we can see from the image, the most important feature is the historical distribution. This is closely followed by the current distribution. In contrast, the least important feature are potential habitats. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic. I'm just using my template, but please feel free to use your own template as well. It's just as fine. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, you can prepare yourself, and then whenever you're ready, you can go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I start now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. This is a map describing annual sunshine hours for France. We can see the map in the middle of these graphs, and there are 5 categories including in this map, including less than 1,750 hours, 750 to 2,000, 2,000 to 2,250, 2,250 to 2,500 and above. And we can see from this map, in the middle part of the France, the areas there average sunshine hours is around 1,750 to 2,000 hours. And on the northern part of the France, the most part is covered with 2,000 to 2,250 hours, and other part are around 2,500 to 2,750 hours. So we can know that it is above the 2,000 temperature in the southern part, and most areas of France, they are around 1,750 hours.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Now, in terms of content, no problems at all. You definitely covered everything there very, very thoroughly, may I just add. Okay. However, in terms of your actual speech performance, right, there's a few things that I need to point out. So the first thing, which I think everybody might have noticed, is I would estimate that you passed 1 minute in terms of duration just then.
Oh.
Yeah, it was definitely way too long. I didn't time it exactly, but I would have guessed it's probably about 1 minute, 10 seconds roughly, based on my sense of timing, right? So this is where, you know, on the one hand, it's nice that you can freestyle and you can give such a good description. But on the other hand, since we are being marked by a computer, right, we don't look at logic the same way as a human marker would. Okay, so a human marker might require you to describe every single part of France in detail, exactly what the temperature is and stuff like that, right? But a computer is just looking for keywords. And when you talked, right, you repeated a lot of things many, many times. Like for example, how many times did you say the word 2000? Maybe 10, 20 times during that particular speech, but you will only get rewarded for it once. So in other words, all the rest of the times are technically unnecessary, right? I want you to try not to think of it as a logical speech that you're giving. Try to think of it as just listing keywords. Every keyword only needs to be said once for you to earn the mark for it. And that's all you have to do for content. Okay? Even though you're getting a full content score, right, you might have trouble dealing with time and stuff like that in a real exam. Okay? So other than being too long, you had a bit of inconsistency when it comes to speed. You started off at a nice normal pace, right? Like this is the map showing annual sunshine hours for France, no problems, right? But then after a while, right, you suddenly, as soon as you got to the numbers, you went super fast. Right?
Yes, this is a problem.
I was just doing 2000s, 1750s, 250s all over the place.
When I come to numbers, I always go faster and faster.
Right.
Just like cannot control.
The good news is that you're not getting stuck on numbers, which is nice. Very clear. Why? Because they're all keywords. They need to be very, very clear. You have to say 2,750 in a way that everyone can clearly understand. Right? Yeah, if you want to say 1,700 as 1,700, no problems, right? The computer will understand that. That's fine. But, right, you need to try to organize the information in a way that's a little bit more efficient. Okay? So in terms of keywords, I don't think anybody's having too much trouble with this one. Right? Obviously, the title, we want to say annual sunshine hours for France. Right? We want to say some of these numbers, but we don't necessarily need to say all of them. In fact, there's a lot of repetition. See, for example, here, 2,000 to 2,250, 2,250 to 2,500. You're basically just saying the same words over and over again, right? When I talk about this, I say, right, as we can see from the image, the highest figure is 2,750 hours. This is closely followed by 2,000. In contrast, the lowest figure is 1,750. That's it. Right? I don't say this weird 2 in the middle. I always try to stay away from saying too many numbers, right? And then the rest of what I can say, I can talk about colors, like for example, yellow, orange, red. I can say north, south, east, west. All of those other things are the same. And I would probably skip saying Charente Maritime because this is a little bit of a tricky thing to say and it might damage my fluency. Okay, so these are just, some decisions that I'm making as I'm preparing for this particular image. So I'll just quickly demonstrate once again, if you guys like. I'll say this is a map of France showing annual sunshine hours. There are several different categories, including red, orange, and yellow. And these are further separated into north, south, and east. As we can see from the image, the highest temperature was 2,750. This is closely followed by 2,000. And in contrast, the lowest figure is 1,750 hours. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic. And all of my emphasis when I say this, right, is on the way I produce the sounds, right? So I think of myself as an actor. It's not really about the words I'm saying, it's about how I deliver them that's going to give me the good marks. Does that make sense? Yeah, 3 numbers, more than enough, right? I can tell you that if you actually went through my speech, right, and did a count of how many keywords there are, there's probably 16 or 17, which is more than enough to get a full content score. Okay? Yeah, so no worries there. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now, once again, right, I sourced this image from the internet, but has anybody actually done this question? I believe from reports, you don't get this full thing. Okay, so I think this bottom section that says sessile hard substrate assemblages, I think they cut that out of the image, right, in the PTE version. Although, has anybody actually gotten this image who can confirm that? Does anybody know? Or not too sure? Well, that's all right. Either way, to be completely honest, even if you get this whole image, you probably don't want to say this bottom section because it's very, very hard to pronounce, right? So even if you did get the bottom section, I would probably avoid it anyway, right? Now, does anybody want to have a try with this one? Grace, thank you very much. Grace, are you there?
Yes.
Ah, there we go. Yes. Welcome to the stream.
Let me see. Where is the topic?
The topic, this one doesn't actually have a topic. I've just written fish on top, but, that's just my own name for it. Right. It doesn't really matter in the end.
This information about the fish. There are several including day, night, and artificial light at night. It can further separated into fishless, fish more, and fish abundance. The highest value is fish more abundant but less predation, and this is followed by the fish less abundant but more predation, and the last value is fish abundance and predation similar to the day. In conclusion, the government should do more research on this topic.
I actually think you did quite well just then, okay? Now, you might have noticed in chat, a lot of people said they couldn't hear you, okay? Now, this is actually a very good illustration of what happens when the microphone is too far from your mouth, and it doesn't actually have to be that far, right?
Okay.
You know that the difference between a microphone positioned here at your nose and the difference between a microphone here at your mouth, right, is about double the volume, just for that tiny little bit of distance.
Okay.
Right. So I don't know how far it was just then, right? But before it was almost unhearable, and then when you put it closer, you came out much, much louder.
Okay,
Right?
thank you. But my pronunciation is really low. Is there any problem of my pronunciation? Okay.
That's basically the problem, volume. Okay, you're way too quiet. Even when the microphone's close to your mouth, you're way too quiet. So what happens? Basically, the computer just doesn't hear you. Okay, so it doesn't matter how good your actual pronunciation is. If I can't hear you, then I can't give you good marks, right?
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Right. So is your pronunciation below 40?
Only 27.
Yeah. So what's happening here is that imagine you're saying a full sentence, right? With like, say, 10 words in it. About 50 or 60% of your words are just getting deleted completely, as if they don't exist.
Okay.
Right. So when you say something like, hello, my name is William, how are you? The computer hears this, hello, William, you, like that. Right. And as you can imagine, if that happens, you're losing a huge amount, not just for pronunciation, but also for fluency and for content as well.
Yes, it's also really low.
Yeah. So sure, I would say that, yes, there are some minor problems with your pronunciation. For example, your V sound, like when you say value, sounds like value, sounds like a W, right?
Okay.
So that might be an example of a pronunciation mistake. But really, when you look at the big picture, right, volume by far is the thing that you should concentrate on. There's no point talking about all the little things until you're loud enough for the computer to hear you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, the next few weeks, you should do some intense voice training, right? Voice training is just stretching the muscles here, speaking loud all the time, singing, that kind of thing, anything that stretches the throat muscles.
Okay. Is there any problem of my content?
No, the content was fine, actually.
Okay.
This one has enough keywords in the actual content itself for you to get a full score just by reading it, more or less.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Thank you.
So since that's what you did, yeah, that was completely fine.
Thank you.
No problems. If you guys want some more content, right, you can always go with things like colors, right, or, just descriptions, right? So you can say things like ocean, water, sea, blue, rocks, all of that would be acceptable as keywords, right? And I'm sure, if you look a bit deeper, you'll find other keywords. But in general, this one has enough words on it that you shouldn't have too much trouble. Okay, fantastic. Any question about that? Is anybody still confused about how to talk about this one? Yes, Vina, what would you like to ask? Do you want me to just do a demonstration? Yeah, okay, no problems. So basically, let me just tell you my process, by the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do every single time, right, is I'm going to look at the image, right? And I'm going to see how many keywords or word groups are there, right? So my job is just to see how many keywords are there on the image and how many do I need to finish my template. Now, in my head, I know my template requires 10. And this particular image has a title plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. So that just means I'm missing 3, which means I just need to come up with 3 other items. Let's say ocean, blue, and rocks. That'll be enough. Okay, so all I did was some easy maths. I need 10 words. I've got 7. I just need 3 more. And that's it, right? Now, it's a good point. These ones are repeating, right? However, each of these, because there's quite a lot of words, it actually contains quite a few keywords, right? Words like abundant, predation, and similar to the day. These are all keywords, right? So either way, it's fine if I do a little bit of repetition as long as I'm inside my time limit. So if I use my same template once again, I'm going to say, this is a table showing fish. Right? There are several different categories, including day, night, and artificial light at night. This is further separated into the ocean, blue, and rocks. As we can see from the image, the most important feature is that fish are less abundant but more predation. This is closely followed by fish more abundant but less predation. In contrast, the least important feature is that fish abundance is similar to the day. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic. And if you time me, I would guess that that's slightly longer than my average speech, so probably around 33 or 34 seconds. Okay, still same number of sentences and following pretty much the same structure there. Good, so hopefully that helps you out. Let's go to the next one, shall we? All right, here we go. Oh, the bottom? Yeah, if you like. You might say something like there are several different categories, including the sessile hard substrate assemblages, right? But that's something very, very hard to say. It contains lots of S's. I would strongly recommend that you skip it, okay? Unless of course, you can practice it at home a lot if you want. Sessile hard substrate assemblages, right? Ship, I don't think ship would be considered a keyword because I don't see anything to do with ships here. All right. So next one. This is a photograph. If you want to be more specific, you can say a before and after photo. Okay, so this is a category called before and after photos, if you want the specific term for it, right? And if you want the specific city, this is London. Okay, although those are not strictly necessary. All right, Stephen, thank you very much for volunteering.
Hey, hello, William.
Hello,
Can you hear me?
Welcome to the stream. You can prepare if you like, and then whenever you're ready, go for it.
Yes, could you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Loud and clear.
Okay. Can I begin?
Go for it, mate. No problems.
Okay. The graph shows us the London, and the graph depicts the beginning of the 20th century and the end of the 20th century, respectively. And in the graph in the left-hand side, we can see the transport system is mainly consists of the food or the weight size, something about that. And the right-hand side, the transport system is changed to bus and the public transport. And then about the building, the left-hand side we can see is the old British style, and in the right-hand side it have just no change. So in conclusion, we can see that British government should conduct more research about the transport system. Okay,
fantastic. So I would say that in general, right, you probably hit enough keywords there. You said transport system, maybe a few too many times in general, right? But you did get enough keywords other than those, right, to fill our requirement for content. So no real problems there. Okay. Your overall speech was pretty surprisingly fluent given that you were freestyling. You were freestyling, right? That wasn't a template.
But I have some stuff in it.
Yeah. There was quite a lot of hesitations, right? Although if you're freestyling, like I said, it's almost impossible not to. You have to be an incredibly talented public speaker if you're going to freestyle an image like that without any hesitations. But unfortunately for a computer, it doesn't actually care about things like that. It's going to count how many ums and ahs you had in there, right?
It's not fluent, I think.
Yeah, it's not fluent enough. So if you asked me what score you would get for that in fluency, I'd say probably around a 60, not quite 65 there. Look, that's actually not too bad. It's one of the better freestyles I've actually heard, right? But, this is the way I usually explain this is, jugglers, right? Imagine I'm juggling balls, right? If I only have 1 or 2 balls, if all I'm thinking about is producing a fluid speech, right? If all I think about is pronunciation and fluency, think of that as 2 balls. I can juggle 2 balls, no problem. Don't need any training for that. But once you add in a lot of other things, right? Once you add in, looking for different keywords, right? Constructing logic, constructing grammar and stuff like that, suddenly you're up to 5 balls. Much, much more difficult to handle, right? And the chances of making a mistake also increase exponentially. So this is where, right, strictly speaking, you don't necessarily need to use a template, but I strongly recommend it because it just makes the whole job so much easier.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Otherwise, I would say that in terms of your pronunciation, I think you don't have an even enough emphasis on your keywords. So some keywords like transport system, I heard many times and with a lot of emphasis, right? The volume was clearly higher when you said transport systems. However, when you said some of the other words like buses, right, and carriages and all that, right, those were very quiet and I couldn't hear the proper amount of emphasis that you need for those keywords. So just a problem with consistency. And also something that I said to a lot of the girls, which is you need to push your low notes down, right? All of your sentences sound like suggestions. They don't sound like statements, right? So like this, it sounds like on the street, there's some buses when it should be on the street, there are some buses, right? That's a statement where we're pushing our sound down.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much, Stephen. Now, when it comes to images like this, guys, right, what I recommend is now that we know that this image is in the test, just prepare some stuff, right? For example, you might talk about the London streetscape. You might talk about horse-drawn carriages, red double-decker buses, for example, wide street, office buildings, Ferris wheel, right? People riding motorbikes in modern day, right? There's a large list of different words that you could have, right? This could literally be hundreds of different words here. You can talk about colors like red, gray, and so on and so forth. Either way, right, just prepare like a keyword list before you go into the test, and that way you won't be so lost when you're looking at something like this. If you want me to do a quick demonstration, I can do that for you, okay? So I'll say something like, this is a before and after photograph of the London streetscape. There are several different categories, including the center of the image, the left-hand side, and the right-hand side. And these are further separated into the foreground and the background. As we can see from the image, the most important feature is the large red buses. This is closely followed by the horse-drawn carriages. In contrast, the least important features are the motorcycles and scooters. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic, right? So once again, I'm maintaining the fluid state of my speech, right? And I just throw in a couple of keywords just so I have enough content. Okay, does that make sense? Right, it's all about that presentation. Let's make a quick keyword list, okay? So we need roughly 15 keywords for any given image, right? So I'm just gonna put the easy ones, right? Let's start with center of the image, left-hand side, right-hand side, foreground, background. Those were the ones that I said right at the beginning, right? This is my little cheating method. What else did we have? We had red double-decker buses, tourist buses. Now, this is me putting 4 adjectives before the buses. You don't need to use all of them, okay? So don't force yourself to memorize all of them. I'm just putting some in. We can say things like horse-drawn carriages, right? You might say office buildings or apartments. They'll probably both be accepted. We're not too sure which one it is. Wide street, London, British, right? Historical photos, right? Like we said, before and after, right? We've got pedestrians. We've got scooters, and motorcycles. And I'm sure, like I said, you can probably find a lot more of these, right? But that's more than enough for you guys to go with, right? Yeah, so you want around 15 keywords, roughly. How did I say the subcategories? I just said there were several different categories, including the center of the image, the left-hand side, and the right-hand side. And these are further separated into the foreground and the background. Yeah, so I just kind of did a very simple version of that. It's a little bit cheaty because I use that for every single photo to reduce the amount of thinking I have to do, right? But that's the kind of thing that I encourage you guys to do, right? Reduce the amount of thinking and focus on the actual presentation. Right, say every word very clearly. Do you notice that when I say things, right, I make sure that my keywords are very, very clearly emphasized. I want to make 100% sure that the computer can hear me and it can identify which ones are the keywords I'm saying. Right, that's my big emphasis here. And, you know, with this list, trust me, that's more than enough keywords. You're never going to finish saying all those in 40 seconds. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Right, what I might do is I might just take this list and I'll get Hikuji to post it up, okay, after the class, and that might help you guys out a little bit. All right. But we're running a little bit short on time, so let's just keep going, right? I want to cover as much of this as possible. All right, let's have another volunteer for this Christmas tree one. How can we pick up keywords? Well, let me tell you a secret. Just then, right, how many actual keywords did I pick out of the image? I only did 4, right? Because center of the image, left-hand side, right-hand side, those aren't part of the image. Those are just things I say for every photo, right? What did I actually say in terms of keywords? I only said 4 things. I said the London streets. I said the red bus, right? I said the horse-drawn carriages. And I said the scooters and motorcycles. That's it. I only took 4 things out of the whole image, right? And because my template only has 1 item per sentence, I've got plenty of time to think about my next sentence. That's the beautiful thing about templates, right? They take the pressure off your thinking. So while I'm saying, as we can see from the image, the most important feature is that's like 3 or 4 seconds of thinking time for me to just pick one thing out of the image to talk about. That's why I can maintain my fluency, because I've been setting up a system that reduces how much thinking I have to do. Okay, yeah, so you want to make it as easy as possible. There was a total of 4 keywords only that I picked out of the image, and I've got a full sentence in between each to think of the next one, right? You can only do this if you practice a template hundreds of times so that you don't need to actually think what the next sentence is, right? I can perform this template in my sleep. I've probably done it about 20,000 times by now. Right. So trust me, if you repeat it as much as I do, you'll get 90 for describe image, almost guaranteed. But putting that aside, would anyone like to try this one? Just type a 1 if you'd like to have a go. Alma, thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So this one's nice and straightforward. It's got plenty of numbers and stuff on it, so you shouldn't have too much trouble finding content.
Okay, just 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Small,
Take your time.
middle, medium, top.
Yes. Small, medium, and large is probably what you're...
Small, medium, and large, extra large. Okay. Can I start now?
Yes.
Okay. So the following graph is giving information about the artificial train storage size guide. According to the graph, I can say that the small train with 4 to 6 feet tall and up to 13 feet wide, and the medium tray 6 to 7.5 feet tall and up to 15.5 feet wide, and the large trim 7.5 to 9 feet tall and up to 17.2 feet wide, and with a height with 9.5 to 12 feet tall, it's extra largest. The information we're collecting with the Christmas storage call. That's it.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I think in terms of content, no real problems there, right? You basically read everything on the image, which is exactly what you're supposed to do, right? And you covered everything, so no problems at all in terms of the content. Now, unfortunately, right, the pronunciation, this is going to sound like me repeating myself, but you definitely need to work on that a lot, right? So once again, everything sounds like a suggestion. Like when you say large tree, it's large tree,
Yeah.
not the large tree, right? You need to push your voice down.
Large tree.
Yeah, you've probably heard a lot of people say girls' pitches are too high, right? What they
Yes.
actually mean is that you're angling your voice in the wrong direction. You're supposed
Too
to be
high?
Yeah, so the problem is not that your pitch is too high. The problem is that you're using the wrong pitch. You're using a rising pitch instead of a falling pitch,
What's that mean?
right? So you want to go down, just往下. 往
So
下
you want me going down? 这样.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So a lot of people get confused, right? Because they hear teachers say girls' pitches are too high. That's actually not really what they're saying. What they're saying is you're not controlling your tones, right? So a lot of girls, all the places where you're supposed to be pushing your tone low, you go high instead. And that's what ends up giving you a high tonal range. Okay? So that's something.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing is that you're adding a lot of sounds at the end of all your T's, right? So just then I heard like, this is the tree storage guide, right? Or this was 12 feet, right? So you need to make sure you control the air coming out of your mouth, right? Those
Okay.
should be super soft. They should not be a syllable, right? This is going to cost you a lot of marks in pronunciation. So be very careful with that.
Okay, thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you very much. This one's nice and straightforward, guys. All right. So I don't think anyone has any trouble, but I'll just do a quick demonstration anyway. So this is a diagram that shows the artificial tree storage size guide. There are several different categories, including small, medium, and large. And these are further separated into 30 inches, 55, and 72 for the Tree Keeper Pro rolling stand. As we can see from the image, the most important feature is 12 feet. This is closely followed by 9 feet. In contrast, the smallest figure is 6 feet. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic, right? So here's another thing, right? Whenever you have like 4 to 6 feet, I just say one of those numbers. I don't say both, right? It just makes my speech a lot cleaner and more well-balanced. Oh, yeah, it's completely fine to use the same conclusion. The conclusion actually has no meaning. The only reason I have the conclusion there is to make sure I can get over 30 seconds. It's like a time controlling device. Okay, it has absolutely no meaning at all. All right, fantastic. Yeah, you can say 6 meters. So the word feet is going to be a key word. The word meters is not a key word. So if you say meters, it just means you don't get the keyword for feet. That's all. Okay, so just think of it as you're one keyword shorter, but that doesn't mean you don't have enough information to get a full content score anyway, right? There's no single keyword that's absolutely necessary. You just need overall enough content. Okay, cool. All right. So sorry, I had some volunteers here. Eddie.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly mute everyone and just turn your microphone back on, okay? Okay, just turn your microphone back on for me. Sorry, Eddie. And then whenever you're ready.
Okay.
No worries. This is a water cycle. I think everybody should be really familiar with it.
Yeah. Okay, I can start now.
Go for it, yeah.
Okay. This picture is clear show us about a water cycle. To start with, we can see the first stage, which is the precipitation, followed by the second stage, which is the evaporation. Completing this stage is into the third stage, which is the precipitation, and finally transforming into the ocean. Overall, I think this picture is very interesting for me, and the process of the water cycle is very complicated.
Okay, fantastic. So I would say, Eddie, you've probably given me one of the best performances this evening, okay? You're very fluent. You've got a nice, strong voice, which is something that a lot of guys are lacking.
Okay.
Right? So your computer should have absolutely no problem, right, recognizing your tones. Your individual pronunciation is mostly okay, but you're having trouble with these long compound words. Right, things like precipitation, evaporation, and transpiration. Now, I would say that you'd be able to fix most of that if you spent a bit more time actually preparing, right? So I don't need you to speak straight away. You can prepare a bit. So during your 25 seconds, if this was a real test, be saying things like precipitation, and making sure it comes out very smoothly. right? But in
sure.
right, in general, the pacing and flow were excellent. I would probably stop a little bit longer at the ends of sentences, give yourself a bit of comfort time there, right, to take a proper breath.
Okay.
But in general,
I got one.
Yes.
Yeah, you say. You can say first. Yeah. I got a question because I got a PTE exam.
Yes.
My fluency is 15.6, but pronunciation only 43.
43.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say that you're probably running into some technical difficulties because I think you've got one of the stronger pronunciations that I've heard tonight, right?
Yeah. So I practice a lot, change a lot than before.
So what I would say is if you're still getting results like that, right, you might want to check where you're positioning things like the microphone and stuff like that.
Okay,
right?
Got it.
These kind of technical issues, just keep in mind, these things can happen in the PTE exam.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And definitely before you take another test, see how much you've improved by looking at the mock tests, right? So he has like a $30 mock test or something like that. And it's moderately accurate. You usually get within plus or minus 5 of your real score.
Did I need to shoot more a lot or just okay for this one?
I would say that you're loud enough, but some of your tones are coming out a little bit bursty. So sometimes the volume spikes upwards a little bit too quickly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you want to just smooth that out a little bit, but in general, right, you sound quite good overall. So I'm actually surprised you only got 43. Maybe that was one of your off days, or maybe
because I changed a lot before. First time I didn't prepare a lot for this exam. So
right. Okay, yeah, no worries. I would say that right now you shouldn't have too much trouble getting 65 already, right?
Okay, thank you so much.
It'd be quite easy for you to push 79 too.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. All right. Now, unfortunately, I've gotten a message from my admin guys. They said I have to finish up very soon. So what I might do is I might just quickly go through each of these images by content, okay? And just give you guys some keywords and stuff like that you can use, right? But in general, you should know the general idea of what I'm trying to push tonight, right? Focus on pronunciation and fluency. Don't worry too much about content. As long as you have enough keywords, you're always going to get a good score, right? So basically, I look at this image. What are my keywords, right? I've only got 3 actual words. So I'm definitely going to say lunar and fish, surface and bottom, right? Are we happy with those? So here, if I was doing this particular one, right, I'm going to have to come up with at least 7 more keywords. Someone wants me to perform the previous one? Yeah, okay, I'll do it quickly. So the key to this one is this is just a big bunch of keywords. I'm just going to read them out one at a time, right? I noticed that this is pretty much a straight line, so I'm just going to pretend this is a book and read it left to right, top to bottom. Okay, so I'm going to say this is a diagram of the water cycle that says, is the groundwater acid also? Right? There are several different categories, including vapor transport, precipitation, and evaporation. And these are further separated into transpiration, surface runoff, and percolation. As we can see from the image, the most important feature is the lake. This is closely followed by the land. In contrast, the least important feature is return flow. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic. So one thing that you might notice is with my template, none of the information is actually logically organized. Okay, it's just a list where I'm just reading one word after another, and I don't care about the order. I don't care about what it means. I just want to say it very clearly, right? So here, I was just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, just like that, right? And I'm finished. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? So that's my personal strategy when I'm dealing with these, right? Because that way I have the maximum amount of control over pronunciation and fluency. And it will be the same thing here, right? I'm going to say something like, this is a table that shows lunar and fish, right? There are several different categories, including the surface, the middle, and the bottom. And this is further separated into red, white, and blue. Right, so I'm just looking for different keywords like red, white, and blue, no problems. As we can see from the image, the most important feature is the crescent moon. This is closely followed by the waxing moon. In contrast, the least important feature is the full moon. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic. Yeah, you definitely can get 90. In fact, just in the last week, I've had 4 or 5 students get 90 for speaking, right, using exactly this strategy. So it's not just me, right? It's not just native speakers who can get 90. It's also students like yourselves with enough practice. Okay? So I'll just quickly list down the types of things you're going to want to say. So obviously Luna and fish, right? We had, what was it? Surface, bottom. You can also just put middle there, right? You can talk about the colors, red, white, blue. What about the moon shapes? You've got crescent moon, that's the small one. Waxing moon, full moon, waning moon. You can talk about the fish, right? You can say clustered, grouped, or spread out, right? And that should be more than enough keywords, right, to cover this entire image. Is everybody okay with those? Yeah, are we all nice and happy with that? Okay, fantastic. Yeah, sorry, I'm going to rush through these because I do want to give you guys a demonstration of every single one, okay? So that you're not going to feel too lost if you actually get these in a test. Okay, this next one. So in my mind, I think to myself, excellent, I've got a title, viruses, and I've got 5 different keywords here. Great, those can be my categories. So I just need 3 more important features. Let's say something like the virus injecting DNA, right? The purple cells, and maybe the damage to the cell wall. Okay, so what I did was I just came up with 3 other features that were not part of these keywords, and that's all I need to complete my template. So I'm going to say, right, this is an image of viruses. There are several different categories, including absorption, replication, and release. And these are further separated into entry and assembly. As we can see from the image, the most important feature is the virus injecting its DNA. This is closely followed by the purple cells. In contrast, the least important feature is when the viruses damage the cell wall. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic. Right? Yeah, this might be a little bit difficult for you, right, in the beginning. So this is obviously, firstly, when you need to get good at a template, so that gives you more time to think. But at the same time, right, there's no reason why you can't prepare these before you walk into the test. You've got a copy of this now, right? We're going to send you out a copy of this, which means you can prepare these in advance, right? It's only 3 keywords that we're memorizing on top of these ones here, right? So let's once again make the list. We got the word viruses, right? We've got the 5 keywords there. What were they? Absorption, entry, replication, right? Entry, replication, assembly, and release. Okay, so cool. What else do we have, right? We've got things like DNA, right? Inject, cell wall, purple, right? Multiply, reproduce. And I think that's probably more than enough to get the full score there. Oh, of course not. You don't need to say anything meaningful necessarily, right? This is, I think this is one of the only benefits of being marked by a computer is that computers don't have any logic. So luckily, whatever you say doesn't really need to make any sense, right? So you could say that I'm kind of taking advantage of it. DNA. So if you want to type out how I say it, basically sounds like this. D-N-N-A, like that. Autocorrect, that's not good. DNA, like that. Yeah, that's how I say it. Although, you know, because I am a native speaker, right, I will kind of join words together sometimes. You don't necessarily need to say it in such a native way. All right, let's keep going. I think, how many more of these are there? There's only 3 more, no problems. Arms and wings. And that, by the way, is a title that I just made up, so please don't feel like you have to copy it, okay? So I might say something like, this is a diagram that shows the skeleton structure of many different animals. There are several different categories, including the upper arm bone, the lower arm bone, and wrist bones. and these are further separated into metacarpals and fingers. As we can see from the image, the most important feature is the human. This is closely followed by the bird. In contrast, the least important feature is the bat. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic. Right, nice and easy. So let's just quickly put down the types of words that we want to use. So we might say something like arms, wings, skeleton structure, upper arm bone, lower arm bone, wrist bones, metacarpals. What was the other one? Fingers. Yeah, normally I would speak a little bit faster, right? So 27 seconds, normally I'd speak a little slower, but because I'm rushing a little bit with this class, I'm going faster than I normally do. So I would normally maybe stop a little bit longer at the end of every sentence and put a bit more emphasis on some words like metacarpals, drag it out a bit longer, right? And if I'm in the test and I see that I'm still a little bit shorter, so I need to get to at least 30 seconds, right? I've got a second rubbish sentence that I've prepared in case my speech is too short, right? So I would say, in conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic, and today is a beautiful day. I think I'll go shopping. Okay, so I can just say whatever just to extend the time a little bit past 30 seconds. That's my goal. Yes. All right, so we've got all of those words, right, from the image. Skeleton structure is something I just added to it, right? We've also got the human. We've got the dinosaur, or you can call it a pterodon or pterodactyl, but I don't recommend you actually bother to memorize those, no point. We've got the bird, we've got the bat. And that, once again, should be more than enough keywords for you guys to finish doing that. If you need more, you can say things like red, purple, you know, all the colors, those are fine as well. All right, any questions about that one? Are we all satisfied with that in terms of the number of keywords we need? Yep, okay, fantastic. Let's go to the next one. All right, so this is another photo. Basically, I'm going to do it the same way as I did the London one, right? So I'm going to say that this is a photo of a peaceful village by the side of a lake. There are several different categories, including the center of the image, the left-hand side, and the right-hand side. And these are further separated into the foreground and the background. As we can see from the image, the most important features are the small power lines. This is closely followed by the apartment with the blue water tank on the roof. In contrast, the least important features are the distant city with skyscrapers. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic. Okay, pretty much exactly the same thing. If you exceed the time, so what will happen is that your recording will get cut off at 40.5 seconds. About half a second after 40 seconds, your recording will automatically be cut. Okay, so even if you say 1 whole minute, it's not going to record the whole thing. Now, the problem is that if you get cut off halfway through the sentence, you're going to lose pronunciation score. Okay, because your sentence doesn't have a proper ending. Does that make sense? So this will cost you in pronunciation most of the time. I would recommend you manage your time a bit better. Okay, so if you're using a good template and stuff like that, you should never go over time. You should be very easy to control your time, right? So for example, if mine's going too long, you know what I do? I just don't say my conclusion because I know my conclusion is useless anyway, right? So if for some reason I'm going too long, I just forget the government sentence, right? And that helps me control my time, no problems. Yeah, right. So it's nice to have 1 or 2 rubbish sentences that you can just add or delete, right? It's nice for your time control. So I recommend anything between 30 to 35 is great. Okay, I'm not really too worried about time. So for example, if you listen to me demonstrate these properly when I'm not rushing, I will almost always be 31 seconds exactly. And this is because, like I said, I've already practiced this template maybe 20,000 times, right? And I say everything at roughly the same speed each time. So once you've practiced enough, you can get the time very, very precise, right? Always be give or take 1 or 2 seconds. Yeah, you can just leave it out. It has no value anyway. Right? No, there's no extra points for saying any keywords that are not listed. Well, I mean, in a photo, there is no keywords, right? You have to find every single one of them yourself. Right. So, by the way, for photos, right, just a quick guide for everybody. If you don't, my general rule for photos, if you want more keywords, right, just go adjective, right, plus noun each time. Right, now, everybody is okay with nouns. When it comes to adjective, just think of size, right, shape, and color. Those are the easiest adjectives, right? So tree, you can almost always say green tree, blue river, right, gray skyscraper, whatever. That's easy, right? So for this particular thing, you might say something like Riverside Village. If you say nothing related to the photos, yes, you cannot get a content score of 0. Okay, so content score of 0 means you get nothing for the entire image. So you can't just say nonsense. You can say 1 or 2 sentences of nonsense, but you must have enough keywords to satisfy the content requirement. Okay, so I can't just say things about the government, right? I definitely need to say something about the image until I have enough content. And then after that, then I can say whatever I want and it doesn't matter, right? So we've got Riverside Village, we've got old dirty houses, huts maybe, we've got, you know, power lines, apartments, water tanks, right, trees, skyscrapers, apartments, right. Picturesque, I would say that would not quite be picturesque. Picturesque is kind of like beautiful, and this particular image is not particularly beautiful, right? So I would question whether or not that's actually considered a keyword, right? Office buildings are dense, dirty, right? These are the kinds of words that you're probably going for, right? Nothing too creative. We're going for the safe options, things that we're very sure are going to be keywords, okay? So picturesque is kind of borderline. We're not 100% sure that it's a keyword. It's best not to consider it. Okay, fantastic. Let's keep going. Is this the final one? Yeah, and this one's just easy, right? This one's got more than enough keywords. So all you have to do is just read it, right? So whenever you get a sentence like this, which is, you know, given to you for free, I usually do a read aloud, right? So I might say something like, this image shows what is the lower mantle. The core or outer core, which is still liquid, and the inner core, which is made of solid metal. Right, I'll just directly read it, nice and simple. There are several different categories, including the asthenosphere, the lower mantle, and the outer core. As we can see from the image, the most important feature, or actually let's say the largest figure, is 6,378 kilometers. This is closely followed by 5,100 kilometers. In contrast, the smallest figure is 2,900 kilometers. In conclusion, the government needs to do more research on this topic. Right, so once again, I saw 3 numbers there. Those can be my numbers that I say. And I've got plenty of keywords, you know, among all of these things here. And that's it. Good. Nice and simple. And that's all of the teaching that we currently have available that we know is reliable. I know there's probably 2 or 3 other images that I didn't show you guys today, which you might have seen. The only reason is we don't know 100% what the quality of those images are. So we're going to wait a little while until we can guarantee that they're reliable before we release those. Okay, cool. Now, that's pretty much all we wanted to cover today. We're going to do a little bit of question time. So if you guys want to stay, we'll be happy to answer some of your questions. Okay. Let me just see if my associates are still here. Just hold on one second. Yeah, are you joining it? Cool, I'm gonna turn on your camera so you're visible. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stop sharing this screen now. You're very welcome, guys. Thank you for coming. Yeah. All right. So now what we might do is we might just start a little bit of question time. Okay. So what I mean is if you guys do have any questions you'd like to ask about the PTE test, about stuff we talked about tonight or other subjects in general, please feel free to just directly ask them in the chat and I'll try to answer some of those before I leave. So Elise asks, is it better to speak faster or normal speed? Always speak at a normal speed, right? So this is something which I feel like a lot of people make a serious mistake on. Speaking too fast is very damaging to your score because if you speak too fast, you can't put proper emphasis on the keywords. You know what I mean? If I speak like a motor mouth like this, there's no way I can actually emphasize what I'm saying. And also it's hard for you to understand when I speak quickly, isn't it? So please try to speak at a normal pace, right? The pace that I'm speaking now is more than fast enough because your job is not to speak as quickly as possible. Your job is to match your voice up to a native speaker's sound file, right? So they've got lots of samples of native speakers. You want the computer to think that you're a native speaker. So you want to speak at the same speed as a native speaker. Does that make sense? Right? Yeah, exactly. So there's absolutely no need to go super fast. All right. Any other questions? How to become a native speaker? Look, I've actually met a lot of students who sound very much like native speakers, right? The key is more listening and more speaking. Speech is one of those things where there's no real magical trick to suddenly become an expert at speaking, right? It just takes time and it just takes practice. Some of my most successful students are usually students who've kind of worked in English speaking background places for a couple of years. Right, so they're spending like 5 or 6 hours a day speaking to native speakers, right? And they'll naturally develop the rhythms and pitches that I've been talking about, right? So your job, right, when you're studying is try to expose yourself to as much native speech as possible, right? No content score for image implications. Well, the thing is, you know, they say put in a conclusion, right? But what that really means is that the word conclusion itself is a keyword. Okay, you just think of it as one keyword score for saying the word conclusion. The computer doesn't understand what you're saying, right? So you can put some conclusions in. For example, if you see a line chart, you might say, in conclusion, this line chart shows there's an increasing trend, for example. That might be a conclusion, but this is optional. Right. In the end, it's all about collecting more keywords, right? And all the conclusion is just different keywords that you might decide to say. Could we use a template in summarized spoken text? Yeah, of course, right? Technically, you can use a template in anything, although I will say that writing templates are not as useful as speaking templates, right? Because a template doesn't actually help you with content at all. All a template does is help organize your sentences, right? So a template is really useful for people who are struggling with things like pronunciation, fluency, spelling, or grammar. That's what templates are good for. They don't add anything to your content score. So in summarized spoken text, when content is your biggest worry, a template is not as useful as you think. It helps you maybe save a bit of time when you're writing, but that's about it. Okay, so for a line or pie graph, how many numbers do we need? Right? There's no specific number. So if an image has less numbers on it, right, then obviously you don't need as many, right? Whereas if an image has a huge number of numbers, you probably want to say a few more, right? So the number of keywords you need for each image, we can say it's about an average of 15, but it will change from image to image, right? If it's a simple pie graph, I would say probably just say all of them. Right? If there's like 3 or 4 different pie graphs or multiple lines, you obviously don't have enough time to say all of them. So just pick a few. If I use my template, I only say 3 every time, right? But that's with my specific template. I just tried to count my keywords and get to about 15 each time. That will usually be very safe. Okay, so how do I improve write from dictation within a short time? So obviously, write from dictation is one of those items where teaching is very useful. So definitely start by having a look at that. But please don't try to memorize all of the teaching. Okay, this is usually not a very good strategy and not a very good use of time in general, right? You need to improve your short-term memory. So one of the easiest ways to do this is find a partner and get them to do read aloud, and you just write down every word that they say. Okay, get them to read one sentence at a time like that. This is usually much, much faster and more effective practice than doing one sentence at a time in write from dictation. Okay, so I feel like that's probably the fastest way to practice it. Yeah, but once again, memory training is something that takes repetitions, right? The more you do, the better you're going to be able to remember those words. Do we need to speak like a robot rather than being emotional? Now, being emotional is not strictly necessary, okay? What they require is for you to show a proper tonal range from your high sound to your low sound, right? A, B, C, D, E, right? Going from high to low. So you just need to have a good tonal range. Speaking like a robot where you're very flat is very damaging to your score, right? You don't want to sound like this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It's too hard to understand what you're saying, right? So you definitely need those highs and lows. But at the same time, it has to be controlled. You can't go too high. You can't go too low, right? It should be within your natural tonal range. That's why I always tell people, try to speak like you normally do. Don't put on a strange reading sound. All right, so you always forget some words. Look, Eddie, this happens to everybody, right? Forgetting words is it's not as big a deal as you think it is, right? Everybody forgets words. That's completely natural, right? What you're looking at is damage control, right? How can I practice in the most effective way so I'll probably increase my consistency and reduce the number of words that I forget? Right? Forgetting a word is not the end of the world. So for example, if it's a 10-word sentence and you miss one, sure, that means you get 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 is a great score, right? It's above average. So this is where, like, don't stress out over your exact score. What you should be doing is trying to target weaknesses and see effective practice methods, right, that help you improve at a fast rate. That's the important thing here. What's the most important thing for read aloud? Volume, by far. Okay, so I don't know if you were listening to William's speech before. I think I saw a little bit of it. Basically, any score less than 55 is almost always a volume problem, right? So if you're getting less than 55, you basically focus on volume. Make sure you get that nice loud sound, that confident tone projecting outwards. Above 55, we start targeting more specific problems, but it's going to be different for everybody. Okay? Yeah. Oh, sorry, just 1 second. You were supposed to already switch over. I was just waiting for you guys to turn on the video and start talking. No, you didn't. I didn't hear anything. Okay, sorry. I'll take one more question. I think William Zhao wanted to say some stuff as well. Apart from describe image and read aloud, which parts should we focus on in order to get higher marks in the limited preparation time? Like I said, this will once again depend on what your actual scores are like, right? So obviously, if you're already getting 90 for speaking, you don't even need to do read aloud or describe image at all, right? So what I would recommend is everyone have a look at the marking guide, right? See where the marks are, which items give you a lot of marks, and then just compare it to your test. So for example, if your writing is weak, then you need to focus on essay writing, the summary tasks, and stuff like that, right? If your listening is weak, you probably need to focus on write from dictation and summarize spoken text, right? And retell lecture and stuff like that. If your reading is very weak, you need to focus on fill in the blanks and you need to focus on read aloud, right? So just depending on wherever you're losing marks, those will be the things that you need to focus on. Okay? Right. William, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Everybody can hear me?
Yeah, you're coming through nice and clear.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, can everyone see it? OK， 所以大家看了一下，这个就是我们的课程。那么刚刚有人在问一下我们的课程，关于你的问题的话，其实我和威廉都可以帮大家来解决的。在我们刚刚有人问我们有没有79或65的保过班，这就是我们的迅达黑科技的一个课程。 我们有这几个特色，大家可以来看一下。第一，传统保过班只是让学生听、反复听、重复的内容，也就是说，基本上外面的保过班都是这样的，你不是没有过嘛，没有过再回来听，那听就是听一样内容，那有什么可听的？所以我们的保过班是这样的，我们是3周的教学课，然后我们有2个半月的练习课，也就是说，当你3周去上完第1个单元以后，你去考，如果你没有考过以后，你可以回来继续参加我们的练习课，这个练习课是2个半月，目前还没有学生是需要参加这么长的时间的。一般来说，我相信在2个单元，也就是6个星期以后，你应该就会去过了这个考试的。所以我们设计了有3个月的时间，里面全部是真题改编而成的一些题目，所以这就是我们真正的保过系统。第二，如果你上我们这个班的话，我们公司有8个老师，刚刚很有意思，我好像讲那些比较狂派，那确实是就悉尼这个市场目前就是比较杂一点，那么 PTE 老师确实也非常多，因为我每个礼拜都是要 interview 大量老师，大家都是有一些考出来的学生啦，他过了2年时间考出65分啦，就来当老师的。那在我们保过班里边，我们公司有3、4个班，这个班是我和威廉2个人会一起教的，那么所以我们是上课上下我们都可以来帮你讲。然后我们看一下，下面是在每次课后，威廉老师都会给你有30分钟以上的时间，基本上威廉老师拖课会拖1个小时起，然后1对1回答学生的问题。那我会在每个礼拜1、礼拜5晚上9点到10点，微信或电话上1对1回答你的问题。什么意思？就是说你想想我们的课程表，你1个礼拜要见4次老师，2次是教学课，2次是练习课。那么你的问题应该在第1个礼拜就全部都 solve 掉。如果你在课下还有问题，你直接 message 给我，我会在每天的9点到10点统一回答你问题。如果我觉得比较方便，我会微信。如果我觉得你有问题，像我们的学生的分析的那个成绩单，我都是打出来的一个 report 发给你的。如果你是发的是音频的话 ，OK， 我会直接打电话给你，会这样比较清楚，怎么来，这就是一流的课后服务。最后很多人问讲我们的基金什么之类的，当你报完课程以后，我们会发给你最新的基金的版本，也就是最全的基金版本，升级的基金版本，而且我们会给你我们最有的技巧书。所以这下面就是说我们的一个价格和我们情况。再看一下，这是我们的一个时间，这个时间是悉尼的一个时间，它是礼拜天、礼拜六的上的是教学课，一共有6节教学课。那么练习课是从礼拜2、礼拜3晚上的7点到8点是1个小时。但是大家要记住啊，我们每次练习课和教学课结束以后，威老师都会留40分钟以上时间来回答大家的问题。所以其实你看这个课程，比如说你看练习课从7点上到8点，其实是7点上到9点，因为威廉老师每次都会留40分钟给留大家这一个问题。所以再看一下下面，所以在第1个单元结束以后，我会建议大家去参加这个考试。如果成绩不理想，你可以继续进行下一单元的学习，也就是说教学课你不需要再去参加了，因为你已经参加过了。你需要参加的就是练习课，因为你当时缺的就是不断的一个 practice 的过程。这就是我刚刚回答大家，这是我们一个保过班的一个系统，好吧？大家还有什么关于 PTE 的问题，也可以来问我，我也可以帮大家来回答。大家还有问题吗？我看不见屏幕，你看一下屏幕。All right， 去保过班多少钱？保过班700块钱。All right， 然后请问后面的课是多少钱？后面课不要钱，就是你报了课后700块钱以后，你这辈子就不要再交第2块钱了 ，OK？ 是包你过为止，是网课性质，不是实体课 ，OK？ 然后just in Sydney please， 我们在那个 Chinatown 那里 ，OK？ 单项网络练习 ，OK？ 如果你只是报口语的话也是可以的，那是500块钱，就是你只是报口语练习课。课程表能在群里再发一次吗？可以啊，等会儿我会在群里通过大班长发给大家，好吧 ？Can I choose William CHEN course? Of course， 我还讲，保过班永远是我和威廉2个人会双师教学，我们俩会同时会来教你。因为有些学生讲英文，那我是讲中文的 ，OK？ 一个班几个人 ？OK， 如果你是上我们的教课，一个班会有4到50个人，但是你如果上的是练习课的话，一个班只有15个人。这里帮大家讲一点啊，请大家一定要多讲话，你知道吗？昨天练习课上到我们火冒三丈，根本没有人讲话的。你不讲话，我是不知道你 read aloud 有什么问题的，我也不知道你 describe image 有什么问题的。所以大家上课时一定要积极发言，不然我怎么知道你 repeat sentence 哪个音发的不？懂我意思吧？大家上课很多时候就把 camera 一关不发音，我也不知道你在不在，所以大家知道啊。还有可以单报练习课吗？不是很好，因为单报练习课一个最大的问题就在于，你的教学课的内容讲的点没有听到，这样的话效果会不是太好。对，是网络授课，是网络授课。OK， 是网络方面的帮你们做授课。OK， 实体课目前实体课只有1对1 ，OK， 1对1或1.2或1对2，我们基本上都是网络教学，不需要什么实体课的。OK， 所以大家还有什么问题吗？关于 PTE 问题，保过65、79都是可以的。OK， 你要保多少，帮你弄多少。如果你要79可以。One verse one，all right。如果你是 one verse one 的话，是100块钱1个小时，但不是我和威廉教，我和威廉教是500块钱1个小时。而且还不一定有空。好吧，大家还有问题吗？大家要考虑这个事情啊。这个班讲还好，你想想啊，我建议大家尽量不要去上 one verse one 啊。基本上来讲 ，one verse one 都是老师来练手的。OK， 真的一个是老师水平很高，哪有时间跟你 one verse one 了？来，我们看还有什么问题吗？没有了，对吧？all right， 如果你是教学课的话，是所有的学生都会在一个教室里，大概是4到50个。但是如果你上的是练习课，一般来说10到15个学生 ，OK， 而且每个学生都会被问到问题，好吧？不需要，因为79和69的问题其实是一样的，而且碰到的学的技巧也是一样的，不需要分班的 ，OK。如果50分也是保过的，也是同价，所以没有任何的问题。I want to get personal feedback. All right, pretty good question. All right， 在每次练习课后，老师都1对1这样问你的。All right， 所以你可以到 personal feedback。如果你要 personal feedback， 你可以直接 message 你问我的问题，比如说你早上10点钟问我一个问题，晚上9点到10点我会直接打电话回你。OK。上个人私教一点效果没有，那肯定这个人就刚刚考出 PTE， 来有经验分享给你来上课。OK。是不是1对？纠音一定要是威廉纠 ，OK？ 我们公司有7个老师，能够真正做到纠音的就他一个，连我都做不到，就这么简单。所以你一定要，你如果是音有问题的话，一定要让他帮你纠，而且一定是练习课上一定要1对1帮你纠 ，OK？ speech all right 没有问题，因为练习课只有15个学生到15个学生左右，所以老师1对1帮你纠的，而且你每次都是每个学生都不会 miss 掉，所以这是没有任何问题的。对，就是如果上完教学课以后，如果你考不过的话，你可以一直来上练习课。因为你想想，你教学课上完了以后，你缺的也就是所谓的 practice 了，你不需要再去听一样内容，你知道吗？你听了这么多内容，可能有什么可再听的？你就要不断练习。那练习你要得到的是 feedback。OK， 练习课我们一个教材一共是2个半月，但是3周为一个单元，所以3周上完以后，你可以去考1次。如果你没有过的话，回来继续再上我们的课就是了，而且是不一样的内容。听一样内容没有任何意义的 ，OK， 没有必要再去听。还有什么问题吗？教学课是对，教学课是3周，教学课是3周，3周就结束所有的教学课程了。Course material 当你报完课程以后，我们会发你3个 course material， 第一个课前资料，第2个教学课资料，第3个练习课所有答案，这个加起来有5个 G。然后我们有专门一个 instruction 会教你怎么用这个的，不然的话你看了肯定是懵的，你知道吧？我记得刚刚在上课时我讲过，就是我们有那个 spectrum graph， 我们帮你录的时候都是有 spectrum graph 的，所以可以一个音一个音的来跟读。什么叫做精读？大家知道什么叫精读吗？精读是我读一句你跟一句，比如说我讲 My name is William, I love this country， 然后我们的音频会帮你做成这副样子 My name is William， 然后你跟读 I love this country， 你跟读，你跟这个音波去对照，你对照越准，你的分数就越高。这个就是我们 material， 这个市场上只有我们有。OK， 会教看这个音波很容易看，这个没1分钟就教会你了，不是很难的一件事情。所以这个大家一定要去弄，知道吗？ 应该没有问题。如果你的 internet 是有，如果你一定要找个 internet 好一点的 internet 不好肯定，但是我看你在给我打字嘛，所以我估计你 internet 应该没什么太大问题。OK， 如果 internet 有问题，你也找个 internet 好的地方，因为我们都是网上教学。OK， 然后就是用 Zoom 这个软件。OK，Luckily 天朝还没有把这 Zoom 给封掉。OK， 天朝已经把什么 Google 啊、Dropbox 都封掉了，所以如果中国的学生，我会通过百度云巴给你；澳大利亚的学生，我会通过 Dropbox 和百度云巴给你。OK， 材料是一样的，好吧？所以就不用担心。还有大家关于 PTE 的一些问题也可以来问我。OK， 关于教学课的问题都可以来问我。口语单项和练习课有几次课 ？All right， 口语单项和练习课一共有18次课。OK。你不要想上太多课了，很多人讲2个半月好多，你要想早点把它考出来，拜拜了。你还上2个半月，那我帮你讲3个月考不出来 PTE， 你要么过了，要么送是神经病医院了，你知道吧？不别搞这么简单的考试，不要搞太久，你知道吧？很多人讲，哎呀，我老师我能不能一直上，千万不要一直上，你这上会疯掉的。所以3周应该差不多了，如果你基础是 OK 的话 ，OK。任何一个学生，我现在45、60要多久？1个月。如果你现在50分的水平到65，1个月的时间差不多。OK， 那3周一定可以啦。72分到79是很短的，3周绝对没有问题。65到79，3周的时间，根据我们的材料走，根据我们的一套模式走，3周没有问题。OK， 给大家举个很简单的例子嘛，你今天回去复习了 read out loud， 请问你怎么复习？你难道照读吗？你知道你哪个音发的准吗？你知道你的音节对吗？那请问你复习啥呢？对不对？所以你一定要知道你现在你问题在哪里，你再去分析。60到79要多久 ？OK， 这个60到79，因为我不知道你的 oral phrasing pronunciation 几分。OK， 听力问题 ，Alright， 听力问题你要记住2个，听力比雅思难。听力你要记住2个，一个是精听，一个是泛听。泛听精听的内容我们会给你。很多学员讲我要去听什么 TED 或者什么科学60秒，对吧？同学们千万不要去听啊！这个 PT 刚出来的时候 ，OK， 那是没材料，你知道吧？现在我们已经做了这么多材料了，200多句 written form dictation， 这么多材料，你是不需要拿这个来听的。我们给你材料足够多的精听，你拿泛听的话也不需要听这个，这个压力太大。你要听一些比较有意思的。你可以到我们的公众号去搜我们给你的泛听，是非常有意思的一些材料。OK， 我现在才50、65 ，OK， 你的写作问题就是你写跑题。然后你的写作75，然后口语 OK， 因为你口语只有53分嘛，所以你的发音和流利度肯定是有问题的。然后你口语怎么算分，大家知道吗？发音加流利度加 content 的分数。然后因为你的口语的，所以你把你的口语的分数提上来以后，口语占48%，当你把口语的分数提上来以后，会直接影响到你的听力和你的阅读。53分到63分，基本上需要3周的时间。这样吧，我会大家问了很多问题，我就问他 PT 这个考试有20种不同的题型 ，OK， 你要一个个去攻破，这是不可能的 ，OK， 大家一定要记住，我一定是什么选择比努力重要，什么意思？我要选有9道题型是最重要的，你要攻破这9种题型。你就基本上攻破 PTE 了。如果我只是要考65分的 multiple choice， 最大的秘诀就是选 B 不看了，下一道，你知道吗？没有必要去看到，你要做到后面的 written form dictation 30分的大题在这里。然后 PTE 我们可以分开来看，它分一个叫内容分，一个叫做 performance 的分数。内容分是什么？内容分你怎么来搞定它？第一，我们会给你模板；第二，我们会给你基金，对不对？但是你的 performance 的分数怎么来搞定？第一，你需要的是你提高你的流利度和你的发音，这都是上课要跟着老师带的。还有第3个也是很重要，就是如何抓住 keywords， 这个是一个 skill， 这个是要学会的。OK， 你们过不了原因就是你知道有些学生吗？他早上起来第一件事情就是找大班长问基金，真的，他不给女朋友发短信的，第一件事就跟他讲，特别勤奋。你想想，你碰到基金，你只能替你搞定内容的分数，而且你还可能碰不到。他是没有办法替你搞定发音和流利度的，你懂我意思吗？发音和流利度是搞不定的，是一定要是上课教你的 method， 你会 practice 以后你再去到的，懂我意思吗？所以这个大家一定要清楚 ，OK？OK， 然后在什么多选题选 B 就不管了 ，OK？ 这个是说什么呢？就是说，你想想，你如果花很多时间，你去花在 multiple choice 上面，你看了很多间，你对了，你拿了1分 ，OK， 你后面 writing from dictation 你错了，你不是 students 你少加个 s 也是扣1分，这分值是一样的，你知道吧？你觉得你应该在 focus 在哪里上面？OK， 然后 WFD 直接每天听吗？基金要听有音频的，我们给你做的音频的基金，这个要听的。但是我不知道你现在有多少。如果是参加我们保过班的人，我们有更多，我们有差不多200、400到280个，就300多个，对的。有可能你现在还不够全，因为你没有报我们班嘛。还有就是OK， 还有什么问题吗？不是到60分就 OK。To be honest, I attend the Weibo class. 文博 but there are so many students that weren't able to give me enough feedback as such as CHEN. 对，今天如果报班的话就是50刀 off。我们这个班是700块钱嘛，今天在12点钟之前报班的话是650块钱，明天全部变成700块钱 ，OK。文播 class before， 然后有很多学生 weren't able to give me enough feedback. Alright， 如果你上过威廉老师课就知道，威廉是史上最耐心老师，他会回答每个学生的问题，直到回答结束以后。你看这1个小时，很多学生老师讲，哎，1个小时到了，我下课，他绝对不回答。Alright， 但是上过他课的人就知道了，他什么1个小时啊，真的，他帮你上1个半小时、3个小时，绝对是很平常的事情。上过他课就可以了。而且你想想，你怎么可能没有 feedback？ 你直接 message 我不就得了？我9点到10点，我直接打电话给你 feedback。但学生一定要记住这个情况，你的问题一定是越来越少的，你知道吧？你不能够什么读了2个礼拜，你还有好多问题，你永远进不了复习这个状态了。你一般来说，在1个礼拜之间，你有许多问题很正常的，所以我们1个礼拜上4次课嘛，你把所有的问题全部集中了，1个礼拜后你再也没有问题了，你应该干嘛？你赶紧不断去练习了，好吧？下期什么时候开始 ？Alright， 我们就下个礼拜6就正式开始了。是上第1节就最重要的 pronunciation 和 oral pronunciation， 大家绝对不能错过。如果你的声音发音不被电脑识别，就相当于踢足球根本没上场，你根本没有必要去考这个试。很多老师，我拿了一个发音打20多分，你等于没做，你知道吗？我进去1道题都不写，我有20多分，因为它是个排名。No, I mean practice feedback. Alright， 如果你做的 practice feedback， 你直接发到公司的 email 里面，我们直接 email 回你。Alright， 你写多少个？老师，我写作文，你有种写100篇，我帮你批100篇。OK， 就基本这样。但是你想想，这是都套模板的，你能写多少吗？好吧，还有什么问题吗？如果明年要报班，直接找大队长对吗？明年要报班 ，OK， 你明年找大队长就对，大班长就可以了 ，OK， 明年要报班也可以的。有，我们这个班是循环的 ，OK， 循环的，Alright， 循环这个班，所以没有任何问题。报名直接找大班长去报好了。你们今天不是进那个群吗？你找大班长报名，然后在那里付款就可以了，好吧？今天晚上报名是650块钱，明天报名就是700块钱。如果你报班的话，就是明天下个礼拜6开始，下个礼拜6开始就正式上第1节课，也最重要的发音和流利度。哎，如果就6点11点悉尼时间，北京时间是8点，3个小时差吗？正常3周1个单元，3周后考就可以了。如果你是小白啊，就对 PTE 完全不了解的，你一定要记住3个东西。Alright， 就是老师，我对 PTE 完全不了解的。第一件事情 ，PTE 全部是机考，它不是人考，所以任何跟人有关系的东西你不要去想。什么叫跟人有关系？老师，我写这篇文章会不会逻辑好一点？电脑懂逻辑，电脑不懂逻辑的，你知道吧？所以不要考虑这个事情。还有 PTE 考场是很吵的，你不能一个人很安静的去读复习的，考场不是这样的，考场很吵的，好吧？然后你上完3周后以后就可以去考了，你复习1个礼拜就可以了，基本上1个月后就可以去考了，不需要自己再复习3周的。还有reading OK， 基本上练什么题 Alright， 你这个练的题要比较多 Alright， 说读拎写 Alright， 你这个 iPhone 这个人，你这个问题有点大了，就是因为你练的东西还要蛮多的。基本上 repeat sentence, read out loud, retell lecture, read from dictation, summary, spoken text， 还有那个 summary written text 都要去练一下。OK， 基本上是这样的。发音40多啊，可以啊，你基本上就没有被识别的，3周可以提高。你上完课以后，你自己复习1个礼拜就可以去考了。 复习的时候大家记住啊，不要一个人在家里很安静的，我靠，声音都关掉复习。那考试不是这样的呀，考试很吵的，旁边那印度阿三吵得要命，你受得了吗？所以你考试的时候，你在一个 library 里面，你知道吧，读的声音响一点。OK， 大家还有什么问题吗？周六几点？就11点。OK。考试时如果被老师警告怎么办？被警告嘛就被警告了，人家管他这么多，警告后你再继续读就是了。当然不理他，还理他，你知道吗？我们公司对面嘛有个印度学校，你知道吧？那印度老师都这么教他们，声音死响，所以你不觉得印度人在悉尼考试人都很响吗？而且印度人死不要脸，你知道吧？他那个都很晚开始的。你比如说，因为他是你是可以确定什么时候开始的嘛？因为你开始他不开始了，你再做到 describe image， 他搞不刚刚 read aloud， 你开始写 essay 了，他开始跟你 repeat sentence 了，你疯了，你懂我意思吧？所以你要所以你一定要是叫什么？就是你要抗击打能力要强，你知道吧？是不是听力题上剩下也会提上去？不是啊，你这个学生的问题是你口语提上去，其他都会提上去，你不会因为听力提上去，口语就会提上去的。多有警告会被赶出去吗？不会被赶出去，他没有权利赶你的，他只有权利警告你。OK。如果给大家一个 tips 吧，就是如果大家在悉尼考去Navitas考，Navitas是全球考场唯一一个旁边没人的，就你旁边没有人的，你知道吧？在旁边开始有人，所以感觉会好一点。那中国的还有一些考场，我靠，你旁边就是一个人，而且这个隔音色是几乎是没有的，你对方讲话绝对听得清楚。Navitas 呢是旁边没有人的，所以呢你感觉就会好很多。3次啊，对啊，你会被警告到3次啊，他说的，他没有权利赶你的。OK。排名什么意思？就是他这个考，就是比如说 ，OK， 我拼写拿20分，那个老兄拿90分，他比我高70分吗？不是这意思，那不可能的，你知道吧？我雅思只考4个8，那4个90的人不是水平比我还高，他考4个9吗？不是这意思，这是什么？他比你做对了6道题，他6个单词比你拼对了，就这么简单。不是说他比你高70分，所以你会才会有些同学，为什么我第一次考什么 PTE 40分，我第二次考 PTE 能达到70分，我突然间涨了30分。不是你涨了30分，是你干掉了前面很多人，你知道我意思吗？就是你去考场的那一批人里边，你的分数值这是个排名，懂吗？跟考场有关系，有的跟考场没有关系，跟当天考试的人有关系啊。比如说我有帮德国的朋友 ，OK， 那把德国人全去考 PT 了，我们直接死，因为他们特别强，你知道吧？基本上这意思。这个在官方都写着的，这个不是我说，大家可以去官方去看的。对你，大家想一下嘛，你 PTE 为什么很难出成绩嘛？有些人不是1天嘛，要么等了什么3、4天。他如果像雅思一样的，就是按分数走，怎么可能让你等呢？他这也太 stupid 的嘛！肯定是他是像澳大利亚那个 HAC 一样的，他是个 database pool， 你知道吧？所以这告诉大家一件什么事情，你知道吗？大家不要这么慷慨，你知道吧？我靠，拿到基金以后都分享出去，我靠，拿基金以后都给别人，我们教材从来不给别人的，你知道吧？我们给那些都为什么？就是因为对方比你做得好，你分数就下来了，懂我意思吧？所以不要把东西全部都给别人，这个对你没有什么好处的。还有女老师带你说会不会理解老师声波 ？OK， 需要多久 ？OK， 下面这个学生就是属于小白类型的，他这个就需要1个月到6个礼拜的时间，就是那个 Mary 这个学生，他有可能需要6周的时间，就上我们2个单元，因为你现在每一项都比较缺。但你只要50分对吧？50分那1个礼拜应该差不多了。OK， 比正常低了20分。我声音是觉得声音很轻，你声音是觉得声音很轻，就真的很轻了。OK。还有男老师带女生会不会不理解老师声音这个说法？男老师带女学生会不会不理解老师声音这个说法？没有啊，男老师也是人啊，怎么会不理解女学生呢？不会的啊。大家刚刚都已经听过威廉讲的那个 feedback 吧，应该很 direct 很清楚的，对吧？不会像那个就是老中医嘛，对不对？讲话好了吧？那么那 Vivian 嘛，你这个成绩已经基本上已经是蛮好的了。请问1周班，什么叫1周班？你上1个礼拜吗？想要8炸 ，OK， 8炸。我觉得你不差不是很远的，基本上2周吧，2周差不多。 因为你只要知道你的问题就可以了。就大家回去后啊，一定要想这么一个问题，就是我到底应该怎么复习和我的问题在哪里。如果你找到你的问题和知道自己的复习点在哪里的话，这个就是已经战胜了 PTE 一大半了。你无非就是要拿我们教材不断的在做练习就可以了。如果你现在不知道你的问题，你现在很迷茫，或者你根本就是小白类型的话，就对 PTE 完全不了解的话，我劝你一定要就是找一个老师带一下，不然的话你会很累的，因为每个题型感觉都是不一样的。而且 PTE 的影响力还是挺大的。我的意思是，就是周围环境对你影响还是很大的。因为有些女生她别人讲一句话，她开始心理素质不行了，就开始声音抖了，机器马上就感觉得出来，好吧？好吧，那就先这样吧。今天我那个课程表的话，我那个大班长会发到那个群里面。然后这个课是一个保过班的课，如果你没有过的话，你可以继续上我们的练习课，为期为2个半月。然后我和威恩老师会同时来教你们，如果大家有问题的话，可以再给我们 feedback， 好吧？那就先这样了。下周六，下周六可以上课。没事，我妈我生病很严重啊，这几天都在医院里。All right， 好，那就先这样吧。好嘞，谢谢大家参加啊，永远支持我们的迅达黑科技。OK， 大班长也很辛苦，为你们天天在整理基金，最新的基金如果有的话，一定会发给大家。OK， 全部是免费发在市场上的，不用担心，好吧？我们把最新的基金给改。现在市场上基金实在是太乱了，真的，那个有多少新题啊？我们整理好后，第一时间全部发给大家，1分钱都不要，免费服务，我们是雷，好吧？那就先这样啦。今天50块 off。All right， 拜拜。